I don't believe she is.
No? Okay.
Right.
All rise.
Thank you. You may be seated. Let me see the attorney's up here. This was the exhibit that was remaining to be admitted that we were waiting on the proper date. 2023 CR 7154B, that's the state of Texas versus Adeline Schneider, and 2023 CR 7154A, the state of Texas versus Christian Moreno. Attorneys, before we left the last time we were together, there was a missing exhibit that you all were going to get to me. I have received it. That states Exhibit 98. The state is tendering for admission. Any objection?
Without objections, Your Honor.
Okay, 98 is received, and with that, we can close the record on this case. Yes?
Yes.
All right, thank you. If the defendants can please stand. For purposes of the record, I have reviewed all of the exhibits that were admitted. In the punishment phase of this case, I have reviewed the pre-sentence investigation report and the TAP evaluation of each of the defendants. Is there any legal reason we cannot proceed to sentencing today?
None on behalf of Mr. Moreno, Your Honor.
Does it have Mr. Spider? No, Judge.
Yes, and Mr. Rodriguez could not be here, right?
Yes, Judge.
And-
Dennis Moreno standing in.
Yes, Mr. Moreno. Any objection, or you want to proceed with Mr. Moreno, Ms. Schneider? Okay. What happened to Mr. Nájera was an unspeakable horror that is going to resonate in our community for a very long time. Unlike any other cases I have presided over, this one is different. It is different because we're not dealing with an intentional act. We're not dealing with a drive-by shooting or any other type of murder. It was a case of criminally negligent behavior. On the one hand, we have the City of San Antonio Animal Care Services swearing under oath, giving testimony that left me with the impression that this was about a missing affidavit, that none of the previous bite victims came forward to declare the dogs dangerous dogs. After hearing from the neighbors on Decla and Darby Street, I find the testimony I heard from the City of San Antonio very difficult to believe. What I do believe is the people from the West Side neighborhood. I find the testimony of David Avila, Fernanda Esparza, Deborah Flores, Sylvia Avila, not only credible, but very persuasive and compelling. The City of San Antonio is not on trial here, and they will have their day in court and their lawsuit to contend with. But about this case, what I do have to say is that it's not about a missing affidavit. Clearly, our city has a lot of work to do to provide services to deal with responsible dog ownership. To echo what most, if not all, the witnesses testified to, this was preventable. If the first line of defense fails because the dog owners are not responsible, the second line of defense should not have failed. Mr. Moreno, Ms. Schneider, this is about dog ownership. It involves not only taking care of your dog, but ensuring the safety of the people in our neighborhoods, in our communities, not only the people, but other pets in the neighborhood and communities. We all have that responsibility to each other, and you failed at that. Mr. Moreno, it is the order of the court that you will be sentenced to 18 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Institutional Division. There is a $5,000 fine, no restitution. The victim has not requested restitution. You are prohibited from owning or possessing any dogs if you make parole on this case. This is a plea bargain case. However, you have the right to appeal the rulings of the court on a pretrial order. Ms. Schneider, your sentence is 15 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Institutional Division. There is a $5,000 fine, no restitution because Ms. Nájera does not want it. You two are prohibited from owning or possessing any dogs if you make parole. Both of you are also ordered to have no contact with Depla Street and Darby Street. Yours is also a plea bargain case, however, you have the right to appeal the rulings of, pretrial rulings of the court. Do we have any impact statements?
We do, Your Honor.
Line them all up, and let's get started. You're remanded to the custody of the sheriff to begin your sentence.
My name is Juanita G. Nájera. I am the widow of Ramon Nájera. I would have never imagined that I would be calling myself a widow at this time of my life and in this tragic way. PTSD is now something I will have to deal with the rest of my life. Extreme loneliness and emptiness will also be a part of my life. You both took a big part of my life away. Took my better half away. When my husband was brutally and unexpectedly taken from me, I was blessed to have my daughter, Anna. She lives here in San Antonio. She took me into her home and took care of me. She would help me bathe. She would feed me, take me to my appointments. And you know why I needed all that help? Because when your dog attacked me, I could hardly walk. My whole body would tremble. I could hardly get out of bed without any help. I had to have help every day. My son, Carlos, a retired Marine, he had to put his life on hold. His family, he had to come down and take care of me. All my financial needs, he helped me with everything. He also provided meals for me. To this day, my daughter Anna, she's still helping me. And my son, even if he's in San Diego, he calls me. He calls me every day to find out how I'm doing. It's been hard for me to depend on their help for whatever I need. From going to court, doctor's appointments, and other needs. My son's in California, he still calls me and keeps in touch with me. It's been hard for me. I found myself feeling so depressed and weak when they had to leave me. I remember saying goodbye to my son when he left, and I held on to him, and I cried, and it broke his heart to leave me behind. But he had a family to take care of and a job, and being with me 2 months he took off to be with me. My daughter Lily, she also took part. She took care of me. She would clean my house. My son Ramon, he would take care of the yard for me. All of them, during this critical time, have helped me so much. All of them have felt distressed that you guys caused on us. And you already got your sentencing, but you have left an everlasting impact in our lives. You took my husband's life. I feel that you are serving what you deserve for the crime you committed. Indirectly, it happened, but you could have prevented it. You could have done something. You could have realized that those dogs needed to be put down. And I think you got the adequate punishment. And right now, there's somebody that should be sitting right there next to you guys. And it should be the city. The city should be there sitting next to you guys because they're guilty too. And I'm glad the Judge Mesa, I know that the Lord was with you when you made this decision, and it was hard for you too. But I thank you.
To Christian and Abilene, our Father will still be here if it were not for your combined acts of omission and conscious indifference. Your disregard for caring neighbors, defiance against public safety, and other public servants contribute to this horrific death, causing great pain to our family. I have not yet heard from you that as you said that I'm sorry to our family. You are unremorseful, disgusting individuals. Disrespectful, you don't deserve to be released as free people in our city. Your negligence with dogs has horrified the senses locally, nationally, and around the world. It was your duty to take care of these dogs. Consider the safety of your neighbors. Using the common sense as pet owners, you should have controlled your dogs on a daily basis. Clearly, you train these dogs because they responded immediately to your commands after attacked by dad. Also, given common sense, they were trained at some level to fight. And that was your doing. My father, Ramon Najera, and his wife, Janie, did not deserve this cruel and gruesome experience that ultimately ripped my father from our family. My father had easily 20 years of life to live yet. That's all I have.
They're remanded. You can take them. And the city attorney's up here. I'll let you visit with them in just a little bit. Or we can get a picture. Juan, I want their attorneys to be able to visit with them. If you have the other matter pending, I'll give you until Monday to decide, otherwise I'm gonna set this trial. That needs to get off my docket.
just gonna come out this way, I'll stand over there.
Yes, sir. I'll get you good side.
Thank you. But seriously, hopefully this is the blessings. Oh, you don't want dogs, you don't want?
$18 and $15.
18 and 15? Well, Jess? Is it?
No, because the max was towards
20 for each one?
Yeah.
What was the reaction?
Nothing. At the end, but
Sí, en español.
Perfecto. ¿Qué es lo que piensas de la sentencia y es lo que esperaban ustedes o qué pensabas?
Fue un caso difícil, una tragedia, la verdad, no se puede negar. Y nuestro trabajo era defender el caso, lo hicimos con todo lo que pudimos hacer. Descubrimos que hubo aquí un participante en este caso que no fue procesado por el sistema criminal, la ciudad de San Antonio. Es obvio que mi cliente y su esposa admitieron su culpabilidad, pero había una historia muy larga y la ciudad sabía lo que estaba pasando. Tuvieron esos perros en su posesión y fallaron en su obligación de procesar los perros para que se determinara oficialmente si eran peligrosos, dangerous. La ciudad de San Antonio tiene un estatuto, una ordinance, que requiere que después de cierto tipo de ataque, y aún así sin ataque, ¿verdad? Simplemente si el animal, si el perro es peligroso, deben de procesar el perro para que se determine si pueden ser todavía liberados y bajo circunstancias normales. En este caso era obvio que esos animales eran peligrosos. Los dueños hicieron lo que pudieron ellos, una familia de escasos recursos económicos y una área que fue básicamente olvidada. El departamento que estaba, que tenía la responsabilidad de proteger a la comunidad de esta área de San Antonio, fallaron. De haber seguido su trabajo, muertos, y esta terrible tragedia no hubiera ocurrido.
¿Abogado piensa una apelar?
Tienen su derecho de apelación. Comentamos que las acciones de la ciudad fueron extremas, outrageous government conduct, y mis clientes tienen el derecho de apelar.
18 y 15 años, ¿es mucho, es exagerado para lo que pasó?
No puedo yo cuestionar la sabiduría y el criterio de la juez en este caso. Fue un caso muy difícil. Es cierto que la culpabilidad fue de parte de varias personas y de entidades. La ciudad de San Antonio tiene que contestar. La única manera que van a contestar ellos es a través de una demanda federal, ¿verdad? Que la familia entabló de parte del señor Nájera y de la señora también. Ese documento es información pública. Pero el hecho es que últimamente la manera en que el señor murió fue algo terrible. Y eso fue en gran parte, pienso yo, lo que causó el tipo de sentencia que tenemos.
¿Por qué nunca se disculparon con la familia?
No era cuestión de no disculparse. Una decisión que se tomó.
Were you guys satisfied with today's sentencing?
Yes, very satisfied.
How did you feel about the judge's statements about the fact that she did not believe the city of San Antonio's testimony?
I can't speak to that, but I do want to thank her for the sentencing, the sentencing phase and the satisfying jail time. And I want to thank the prosecutors, the state, for doing their job and really bringing up all the evidence to the front and forward. I don't know what else to say. I feel good. There's no winners in this thing. There's 2 losses involved here, but justice was served.
This is not over for you guys. You still have now the federal lawsuit. Do you guys get to rest any between these 2 cases? Because it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it comes and goes. You take it's a little bit bites at a time as things come up. Yeah, this is something different with the city. We got to go from there, and I think there's, like I said before, when I first talked to ACS, it was a broken fragment of city services. That's what I've heard mentioned when I first spoke with ACS at their budget meeting. like a couple of months after the attack. So because of what I've been hearing about city systems, we're not talking to each other. So that was my first reaction to that.
Does
The
it feel like
fact
the
that he never
answer?
apologized, the fact that
Does it feel like the answer?
Sorta. Yeah. I mean, this criminal part of it. Who was negligent, as far as the physical people that owned the dogs. I feel like it's over with. Now it's just, another portion.
What did you think of Christian and Abilene's demeanor when they were listening to your statements? They seemed to be listening, but what did you think of their
Ms.
demeanor?
Schneider wiped a tear away.
Yeah, I didn't seem like like I said in my statement, they didn't seem remorseful or sorrowful or anything like that. Even from the beginning, anything that I saw on the TV, I guess some of the newscasts that showed them, there was any kind of what happened, like any kind of remorsefulness or sorry what happened. It was just like our dogs did this and that was it.
What does it tell you?
It just tells me they were at a different level of personalities. Or go ahead.
Nahara, they mentioned that, or Ms. Nahara mentioned the fact that, this is going to have a long-lasting impact on your guys' life, even though the sentencing is over. Do you agree, sir?
Yes, I agree. I mean, we don't have a father with us to celebrate our different moments in life. It's just he's going to be not there. It's just he was surrounded by his family all the time. So that was taken away.
What message do you hope this decision sends to the city, but also to pet owners who might have seen what happened here?
I think the message is quite clear that I don't think the city, the DA is not going to put up with people that let their dogs loose and just bite people or aggressive dogs, and I think it sets a bar.
Do you see this as a turning point for the city?
I believe so. I mean, look at their budget. They're putting in 14 more ACS officers on top of what they already have. So, I mean, they see it needing some action on ACS part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for being so great to us through this whole process. You've been so kind to us.
No, we can't give you. We won't get any of our time for.
Hoping for a lesser sentence, but I kind of criticize the judge for her decision. It's a difficult decision.
Do you know how long they could serve before they come up for parole? Is it possible? Would they have to serve half?
Not a 3-year offense. So I don't think we have that situation. It's a criminally negligent mens rea. It's a second degree by virtue of the type of somebody died. So that's what created the increase in the punishment. So no, it's difficult to say parole works.
Like how soon they could come up?
Yeah, it's just impossible to say that. But they will be eligible, no question about it.
We just don't know when.
Sure.
Okay.
So they pled in the hopes of getting a lesser sentence, correct?
Well, they pled because they accepted the responsibility. Right. And ordinarily that is conducive to lesser punishment from a court.
What kind of punishment were you guys hoping for, sir?
We're always asking for the least amount of time. Probation, I think, would have been adequate for either one of them. If a sentence of prison was to be applied, then we would have hoped for something less than what was applied. But it was always a difficult case, so anything anything was expected.
What do you think the reaction was today? Do you think they were prepared to receive such lengthy sentences? What was the reaction? I didn't see a lot. It seemed like they were kind of prepared for the worst.
They were devastated by the experience as well. Let's not forget that this was not an intentional act or anything involving any kind of direct conduct that led to these tragedies. This was a case of negligence. They obviously had no intention, and they would not have imagined this would have happened the way it happened. So disappointed, obviously, but they were prepared.
Is it correct that Adeline's mother will raise their 4 children while they're in prison? I thought that's what she testified to last week.
I don't have specifics on that, but there will be family, I trust, that will take care of that.
And I apologize for jumping in late. Are they planning for an appeal at this time?
There would be a matter to appeal. The court rejected our motions to dismiss on the basis of outrageous government conduct. I believe the motions speak for themselves. The court had the discretion to grant that on due process grounds. So they have the right to do that. It's their decision. So counsel will be appointed to handle that on appeal.
So they have not waived their right to appeal with this plea?
Well, no, but what happened procedurally is also important to mention. They did plead, but they also, by virtue, under Texas law, if you preserve certain pretrial motions ahead of time, you preserve them. So it's not like in federal court where you waive everything with a plea. So automatically these motions were preserved. And so it's their election to decide to go forward and contest
This
the motion.
case and this death has gotten a lot of media scrutiny, obviously, for the handling of dogs at the city level and just dog owners in general. Do you think the sentencing today potentially reflects what has happened in the media as a result of this, sir?
Rephrase your question again.
Do you think that the media attention and the criticisms of ACS that have been brought upon since this incident happened, do you think that potentially played a role in the judge's harsher sentence?
Our position is that the information that we were able to produce from the city and their conscious indifference, our clients were convicted of negligence. I believe that that was mitigating. So my client did not technically receive the full range of punishment. He received an 18-year sentence, his wife 15. It's possible that without that evidence, they each would have been subjected to the maximum punishment. So the best way I can answer that question for you is that we now know there's another part to this story. And unfortunately, I guess for the family, or I guess from the sense of justice, if we truly were to seek justice, more people should have been tried for this. But as I argued in closing, oftentimes we have the low-hanging fruit, which is this couple, a couple with no resources, from a part of the city that's often neglected by both police and, as we now know, animal control. So that there's no question that it's a but-for situation, which explains why lawyers took this case and filed it in federal court. Had these animals been handled properly, there is absolutely no question they would have been euthanized, and we wouldn't be here.
When you say more people should have been tried for this offense, do you mean officials from Animal Care Services?
People who were responsible, and they know who they are. Ultimately, the decision is by the charging authority. It's for them to decide if they do that or not. But it wasn't done. Only a couple that own these dogs were tried for negligence.
Will you be keeping an eye on the federal lawsuit that is obviously going against the city of San Antonio in relation to this case?
Well, I think it's going to make news. So I'll be interested in seeing what the developments are. And hopefully, and as you all probably know, there were a lot of changes that occurred to animal control after this tragedy. So everything that should have been done before, I'm not even sure they did enough after the fact. But these changes, I think, reflect a realization, an acceptance, if you will, that the city was a participant in this tragedy. And so hopefully, now that this happened, the agency will protect the citizens of San Antonio, no matter what neighborhood they're from.
Will the outcome of that lawsuit change the fate potentially of your clients?
I can't really answer that right now. It's a difficult question to answer, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what the result is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
then just in case they're getting this decision, can I have you say and spell your name for me?
Yes, Jorge G. Aristotelidis, Aristotelidis.
Perfect. Sir, do you have a card or a contact I can?
Not with me, but give me my cell phone.
I appreciate it.